Download the BCSN Plus app today.
Well, the Mud Hens back home this week as we welcome in Brad Woznicki from the Hens. And Brad, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Hey, suit and tie, just like you asked.
Exactly. You know, occasionally he gets out of the polo. Appreciate you classing us up a little bit. We won't get into Emmanuel Class A in this segment. We'll have something about him a little bit later on. But let's stick with baseball with the Mud Hens. And, man, a rough series in Indianapolis this past week.
Yes, you came in facing the top team in the International League West Division, and you ended up having the final 4 games of the series all be one-run games. But you only saw the Mud Hens win 1 of those 4 games in just 1 game out of the 6 games in the entire series. And a big stat that sticks out from the series was the fact that the Mud Hens left 52 on base over the 6 games. And when you have one-run ball games, those kind of numbers come back to hurt you.
Yeah, one-run games haunt you. I mean, you can lose a bunch of 5-run games. Okay, fine, we lost the game. But one-run game, 1 or 2 things goes differently, that's a whole different series.
Absolutely. And you're talking just throughout the game where there wasn't necessarily consistent hitting from Indianapolis. It was those big innings that came back to haunt the Hens. You see the Mud Hens jump out 2-0 early on Sunday. You get home runs from Hao-Yu Lee, get a homer from Trey Cruz, his first AAA home run, and you're thinking Hens off to a good start. But then you see the walks and some hit by pitches and maybe an error here or there, and that opens the door, and Indianapolis, a good enough team to take advantage.
Hao-Yu Lee, Akil Baddoo, a couple of strong series from them individually on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, you now have Hao-Yu Lee on a 5-game hitting streak in which he's had an RBI in every one of those games, and Akil Baddoo has hit safely in each of his last 6 games. 2 guys that, you know, could be in the middle of your order, could be at the top of your order, but they know how to produce, and they've been very aggressive on the bases. Hao-Yu Lee homering in back-to-back games on Saturday and Sunday, giving him now 11 long balls in his first season with the Mud Hens.
It seems like the last couple of weeks, one of the things we've been talking about is moves are going to be made. There's going to be moves made at the AAA level. There's going to be moves made at the Major League level. And the Hens right now, a lot of different moves dealing with. Some of those are Tigers acquisitions, Tigers making moves. There's also some injuries going through that's really hurting Toledo right now as well.
Yeah, take your pick on what moves you want to go to right now. I mean, you and I notably were talking about before we came on here the fact that Brewer Hicklin, who was a part of the Tigers 40-man roster, he gets brought down and ends up being released and is now picked up by the Philadelphia Phillies organization in exchange for cash. So you lose a veteran guy like that who had been producing the long ball, been out there when you need him. And going back to those injuries that you talked about, Mark, well, it's been pitcher after pitcher that you don't have available. Lyle Lockhart, it's been over a week since we've seen him. Ricky Van Nasco has been out. Dylan Smith also on the injured list right now. So you're seeing guys out there and guys being brought up from AA Erie, even West Michigan, that have to come up and get some early experience at the AAA level. I know Troy Watson, a guy that we saw this past weekend, he ends up coming out there having a solid performance after really just a rough first inning of work. But Troy Watson, we hadn't seen at the AAA level since 2024. And the guy right behind him, Trevin Michael, also comes up with Troy Watson. He comes in a very solid relief effort there, but right now it's up to Mud Hens manager Gabe Alvarez to try and fill in the gaps while the Tigers have guys down and the Mud Hens have guys injured.
Absolutely. So the good news is the Hens are finally home again. We get an extended homestand, 6 games. It's been a while since we've had one of those, as St. Paul Saints coming into town, as have games all week long, 7 o'clock games until Sunday, which could be an afternoon game.
Yeah, honestly, it's going to be a busy weekend at Fifth Third Field because you have Hens and Hounds to start on Tuesday. Then we get Jeep Fest absolutely taking over downtown Toledo. So you're going to have the Mud Hens or the Mud Crawlers this weekend, and then the Kids Takeover on Sunday.
Yeah, the Mud Crawlers uniform hat combination is one of, I think, the better alternate caps and sign-offs we've seen from the Hens do over the years. We've seen some crazy stuff over AAA and minor league sports to begin with uniform-wise, but I really do like the Mud Crawlers.
Absolutely, I'm right with you, and who doesn't love having Jeeps all over the Glass City?
And of course, you'll be able to see Jeep Fest Parade on Saturday live right here on BCSN. All the Hens games this week at home live on BCSN as well. Brad, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.